There is among patriots and conservatives and Christians a lot of ambivalence, if not outright anger, at the Republican Party. And this anger is directed sometimes against individuals. This guy's a wimp, that guy's a sellout, but sometimes at the party as a whole. How do we think about this phenomenon of how to deal with a party that actually is, to some degree, part of the swamp? Well, the answer, I think, is to think in terms of the politics of the lesser evil. A very simple principle, and that is it is always justified to ally with the lesser evil to defeat the greater evil. I think we all know what the greater evil is here. And we need as much force as we can muster on the other side to defeat the bad guys. Now, this is a principle that is often misunderstood and often misapplied, not just in domestic politics, but even in foreign policy. Look at Jimmy Carter, I think the greatest nincompoop of American presidential history. Well, Jimmy Carter, in trying to get rid of the Shah of Iran, a bad guy as he saw it, got Khomeini, a worse guy. So in trying to get rid of the bad guy, he got the worse guy. He didn't apply the politics of the lesser evil.
We continue to face a grave situation in Iran, where our embassy has been seized and more than 60 American citizens continue to be held as hostages in an attempt to force unacceptable demands on our country.
Now, the abolitionists, going back a century or more, were the party of purists. They were like us. They wanted to be clean. They didn't want to mess up their fingers by being in bed with the bad guys. But at the end of the day, they needed the Republican Party to defeat slavery. They couldn't have done it on their own. It was the Republican Party that was the engine, ultimately the coalition builder that defeated slavery. And the same is true now. We can't defeat the left and the Democrats without building out and building up the Republican Party.
The abolitionists, really, before the 1850s, they were kind of considered the lunatic fringe. Only those sorts of people would imagine that you would want to end slavery right now everywhere that exists in the United States. So they don't want to just not have slavery out in the West. They want slavery to be ended where it exists already in the South.
Right.
So those who believed in abolition, those who believed in anti-slavery, went to a new party, the Republican Party.
So we're going to have to put up with some wimps and some sellouts, and some goofballs, kind of like this guy right here. We've got a lot of goofballs on our side, but we need the goofballs, we need the opportunists, we need some of the sellouts as well. Together, by motivating these people, bringing out what Lincoln would call the better angels of their nature, that's how we assemble a winning team.
Honey, why is he a goofball?